She did like me currently. Good enough for me. FaceTime for 4 hours after that. Stayed up till 2:30 a.m. talking. Next day everything is pretty good. Grades have been slowly improving and everything seemed to be going my way. Fast forward another day. Fear her talking less to me, but chose to remain oblivious because it was better than accepting truth. Knew my suspicions were right. She probably didn't like me. Still chose to ignore. Fast forward another 2 days. See her hugging my beta fat friend in the hallway. Stunned for a little bit, but I had to go somewhere. Pushed it out of my mind. Forgot about it for most of the day. Had a lot of tests as teachers crammed as much crap as they did before the start of midterms next week. Friend talks to me afterwards, says he and are dating. Sadly smiled and said, have after school shit to do. Pushed out of my mind again. Go to my senior friend's house to just chill and get a little work done. He is really smart, and I want to be like him. Go home around 11. Sleep before I really process anything that happened. Wake up next day and go back to sleep. Don't want to start thinking about everything. Tell 2 close female friends who had nothing to do with this about what happened. Tell one of my other friends who was close to Amanda about what happened. Tells me her excuses. Emotionally fucked up because of some past relationship with a senior who gave her a lot of first according to Amanda. Feels really bad about what she's done. Would have said yes to anyone at that given time. Text beta fat friend my perspective on what happened. Don't think he read it thoroughly or even read it at all, but I can't really blame him for pursuing her. He's like her child. Check my grades. They all shut down after Friday's tests. Midterms are next week. Never knew 1 week could change your life so fucking much. r/ask Reddit. What is something only assholes buy? Calvin pissing on bumper stickers. Balls for your truck. But what if I buy balls for another person's truck, and then install them without their knowledge? Am I an asshole? I'm a firearms guy. I like guns. I shoot guns competitively. I carry almost daily. Don't make your entire car a rolling ad for firearms. Firearms manufacturers, your CCW permit, your AR platform rifles and all your terrible gun puns makes us all look like assholes. Plus the whole point of a concealed weapon is keep it that way. Some guy I work with has about 3 cigs or a sticker, some M&P stickers and another sticker that says duck spelled with ARs. On top of that he wears white Oakleys and has his ex-wife's name tattooed on his neck. I wish all this was false but it's not. Senators. See also college admissions. Liquid ass, ducking smelled like it all day from one spray. Quote an endorsement of the product go. The other type of people who buy it are NASA engineers looking to trap some package thieves. Reusable toilet paper, especially while living in an apartment complex with a shared washing machine. Drum kits for other people's kids. I told my siblings and cousins that drum kits is my default gift for kids. If they happen to have a better suggestion, I'm all for it. After that, I started to actually get Christmas lists for my nephews and nieces. Cookie Monster snapbacks. Kids who wore those growing up are in jail now. Babysat a kid who wore these. Last I see, he had been arrested for possession of meth with intent to distribute. Story checks out. I worked the drive-thru at McDonald's for a short time. One Wednesday night at 8 p.m. a guy came through the drive-thru and ordered 2 large Mocha Cafe Expresses for his 2 kids about 8ish years old. 8 p.m. on Wednesday. The only thing I can imagine is that he was returning them to the ex. Rohypnol. It does have legitimate medical uses. That's where it came from. But anyone buying it without a prescription is probably an asshole. Correct me if I'm wrong. But isn't it banned in the US even as a prescription due to misuse? It's actually Schedule IV in the US. Considered less dangerous with lower potential for abuse than marijuana, cocaine, hydrocodone, and many others. Those decal stickers and mud flaps showing the outline of a sexy woman. So trash. Super bright LED headlights. Like seriously. I know most people don't consider what the situation is of the people in the car in front of you. But duck those headlights. I work at night in a dark room, so light adjustment isn't a big thing in my day-to-day. Those headlights are like having the sun directly behind me, and then you think they have their brights on, so you flash your bright to let them know. But it turns out those are their low beams and they retaliate by opening the Ark of the Covenant. Please do not give someone else fish, cats, dogs or just pets in general for their birthday. Gee, thanks. You just unilaterally gave me years of responsibility that requires time and money on my part without even asking me if I wanted it. But if I refuse the gift or give it away now I'm the jerk. Yeah, thanks a lot. Truck conversion kit or old coal. There's no reason other than being an asshole you want to make your engine throw out a ton of smoke. And if you remove a particle filter a crap ton of dust. On demand. Ed Hardy shirts. In my short tenure at a sunglasses store, I don't remember one single Oakley Ridal-off buyer who didn't fit the Debro douchebag stereotype to a T edit. To clarify, I think I got unlucky because since it was a mall, the people who would buy the sunglasses for their intended purpose went to the sportswear store, while I got only the posers. My brother has an Oakley tattoo. No, I'm not kidding. I went to school with a Debro douchebag who got someone pregnant in 11th grade. They named their child Oakley. Tap out gear. One time on the way to a family gathering, my wife saw a tap out sticker on someone's car. She asked what it was and I told her it was a douchebag indicator. Then we got there and her cousin was wearing tap out head to toe. She looked at me and said, yeah, that checks out. I've seen a product on eBay that was a dummy plug that faked your seatbelt so that it wouldn't make a noise if you didn't have one on. The kicker? The other side was a beer bottle opener 77 sold when I last checked. Maverick merch from Logan Paul. Gigantic, 1-foot wide pipe stack exhausts for pickup trucks that spew black smoke from them. Confederate flags. American Civil War second place ribbons. Participation trophies. I cost $620,000 in their lives and all I got was this flags. gallon-sized or smaller fish bowls to house an actual vertebrate. Punisher stickers and Decepticon stickers for their car or truck. Seriously, have you ever met someone with one or both of these stickers on their car who wasn't an insufferable douchebag? I know someone who has a Punisher sticker on his Jeep. The only things that man punishes are a Burger King drive-thru and the toilet. People roasting rednecks. I'm from Texas and these are all pretty accurate. $90,000 Brodozer trucks. Affliction shirts. Those bedazzled boot cut jeans. Yeti hats, stickers, tees and related gear. Axe body spray. Camo tuxedos. That's a thing. Edit. Yes. I've never seen one because they're camouflage. You're all hilarious. Picture in your mind the kind of people you think would wear a camo tux. Now add 20 pounds and subtract a few teeth. Now Google camo tuxes. Big ass trucks that don't really have a purpose than just being a big ass truck. Like a regular ass truck can do the same stuff. You didn't need the lift kit and monster truck wheels just to drive to Ralph's. Steve. Edit. To make it clearer, the type of people to lift a truck just for the looks. They've never hauled anything or touched dirt with their truck. Probably the most they've done was splash water around during the rain. I'm not trying to bash any off-road enthusiasts out here. Just the people trying to show off their big dick energy when they got none. Monster Energy drink stickers. Multiple mojitos at last call, or a round of shots but everyone wants a different shot. I'll have a kamikaze, she'll have a Starfucker, he wants an alien brain hemorrhage, and an Irish car bomb and we're all paying separately. Train horns for pickup trucks. Also quite illegal in pretty much all of North America, and probably many other places in the world. Honestly though, I wish I had a train horn every now and again. When some brain-dead dickhead does something that puts my life in danger on the road, I can appreciate the sentiment. But yeah, don't do this to your car folks. The regular horn is plenty enough. Tinted, removed or otherwise obscured license plates. There's only one reason you'd want to make it difficult to see what your license plate says, and that's so that you can drive like a twat. White framed mirrored Oakleys. Fred Perry polo shirts. Clown robes. The rear window decals depicting every living creature in their immediate family. WGAF. I secretly long for a dysfunctional sticker family. It would have the dad tilting back a jug of moonshine while mom gives us the finger. The daughter would be mud flap girl, and the son would be swinging the cat in circles over his head while pissing on the dog. The grandparents would be depicted by tombstones. Paid cheats, like speed hacks, wall hacks, aimbot, for online games. Duck cheaters, especially paying cheaters who keep the cheat makers in business. You just got passed by a girl bumper stickers. Although I can't possibly let myself be a law-abiding citizen and follow the speed limit now that girl has passed me. I just don't see the point. Why would anyone care? Silly boys. Trucks are for girls. I've yet to meet someone who could afford a guided hunting trip to Africa who wasn't a total prick. Hummers. Handbags worth as much as a small car. I know you didn't buy it because it's a quality brand. You bought it because you want us all to know you can blow a carload of cash on a handbag. So what I'm hearing here is that you shouldn't drive a big gas truck with balls on it, bright LEDs, a tap-out sticker on the window and a Calvin sticker pissing on anything, while wearing your Oakley Ridalock sunglasses with your Yeti hat and Ed Hardy shorts. Damn, there goes my whole style. Okay Hitler, don't forget the bicep tribal tat. Whatever the duck, this asshole used to make his Toyota Corolla sound like a motorcycle. The old fart cannon. Putting those on old Honda Civics is really common where I live, and I really wish people would stop thinking they have a high-end race car just because their Civic sounds like an off-key trumpet. Essential oils for medical purposes. I particularly enjoy that essential here doesn't mean vital or important. It's essential as in essence of as in, we squeezed something. Holy it, now I feel dumb. Can someone who is a better artist than I please compile a list of the top comments and draw this absolute douchebag for us? I feel like we've got a really good picture going here, as requested. You've been visited by the smart studying doggo. You'll be blessed. Ask with it. Uber drivers, what's the deepest secrets you've overheard in your car? One time I was driving a dude for a bit of a long trip. Was gonna take around 25 to 30 minutes. He wasn't hammered, but definitely a bit drunk. It was late, and he must have been feeling a bit down, so he confided in me, and asked me for some advice. He told me he's madly in love with his fiance's best friend and he couldn't back out now. He'd been with this girl for years, and engaged for one, ready to be married in a few months. It was pretty sad to hear, because it wasn't just your average story. It was filled with a lot of subtle emotional and mental anguish. The guy went through about 5 years of ups and downs with his girl, and found an innocent friend and comfort in the best friend. After a few years, he developed feelings, and it was just downhill from there. Felt bad for the guy, because he seemed like he was truly in love with his fiancée too. Although he had strong feelings for this friend, he knew that going through with the marriage meant a lifetime of being around the friend and suppressing feelings. But also breaking it off meant that he lost the girl of his dreams. Seemed like a genuinely nice guy, and I hope he's doing okay. I picked up this young overly affectionate couple that spent the entire trip making out in my backseat, and telling each other that they loved each other. Cute. So I drop off the couple and head on my way to pick up my text fare. I hear a cell phone ring in my backseat, realize it's my previous rides, and pick up the phone to let them know I have it, and I'll come back to drop it off. Turns out it was the guy's wife phoning to check in on him while he was on a business trip, which he was thoroughly enjoying with his mistress. Former Uber driver here. Picked a girl up, a sweet girl from a bar on a Wednesday night, absolutely hammered, about 10 p.m. She got into my car, apologized for being so drunk and politely asked if we could just drive around a little while, with the windows down. I was prepping for a cleaning fee, trying to drive, and pull the vomit bag out of the glove box. But no, she just did that airplane thing with one hand out the backseat window. She asked me if I had ever thought about dying, to which I replied, yeah, I guess so. That's when she told me that she had cancer. It was in her brain, and it was too far gone to consider chemo. I remember my heart just pounding. She told me she was dying, and she was going to be okay. Tonight she was celebrating with her work friends who threw her a going away party. She told them she was taking a position abroad. I just didn't tell them that abroad was heaven. Jesus fricking Christ. I turned off my app and cried my ass all the way home. Uber passenger here had a driver tell me he was changing his name to Nilram because it was Malin spelled backward, and he was a wizard. Picked up two dudes, was Malin spelled backward, and he was a wizard. Picked up two dudes. They were talking about how they were going to keep hiding their relationship from their wives and children. Pretty messed up stuff. Drove Uber one night. It was pretty tame. until I picked up two guys who wanted to go to a strip club 40 miles away. As they requested an Uber Select fare, I was happy to drive that far. $80 to $100. It took them 15 minutes to get ready and into the car, and they seemed cool, so I wasn't worried. As soon as we got on the freeway, the guy in the passenger seat started asking about Uber driving, and things got dark. After a few minutes he started saying crap like, what would you do if someone just grabbed the steering wheel and ran the car into the median? And have you ever thought about what would happen if someone in the back seat tried to strangle you while you were driving? I got a little freaked out and tried to lighten the mood by asking what they were celebrating, etc. But the one guy just kept at it. I was happy to get to the strip club and get them the hell out of the car. Bonus was the bouncer at the club gave me $40 for dropping them off there. I never drove Uber again. F that. It wasn't so much weird as it was random. But my first night driving for Uber/Lyft, I picked up a dude at 2:30 a.m. that was finishing up a pub crawl. The dude was dressed in a purple dinosaur onishi and was hammered. He got in and started telling me his entire life story and how he came out to his parents and moved across the country the next day. I know this is the opposite of what you asked, because I'm a passenger, not a driver. I had an Iraqi driver tell me he was an engineer in Iraq before the first Gulf War, and he developed a superior means of gilding furniture, chandeliers etc., which you can imagine was hot in pre-war Hassan-vile. One day wanted to go into business with him, but, and this is a direct quote, first day wants to be your partner in business, then he wants to be partner in your wife. Words to live by. Took this 19-year-old kid and what I assumed was his GF back to her house on Pride weekend in SF. They made out the whole ride. When I dropped them off, only she got out. He said, take me to Castro and 18th. I said, really? And he said, yeah, I only make out with girls when I'm rolling. Never a dull moment in San Francisco. Two girls talking about how they fricked the same guy. Both agreed his dick was too big, and he was hurting them by lasting too long. Both concluded he was gay. Two middle-aged couples trying to agree to a foursome. Two 40-something guys who I picked up from a bar were talking on a phone speaker, and they were trying to make plans with a third guy who was at a party with a bunch of drunk 12th graders. Exact words. One guy in my car asked if there was anyone younger there. Other dude said, dude really? Followed by silence. Then he said, fucking sweet. Not sure as there was missing context, but it sounded like there was younger teenagers there already drunk and these older dudes were going to pick up. Not so much secrets as they were things people don't normally say or do in front of strangers. Picked up a divorced father who bloody paid for his Lyft ride to the bar. Why? Because he was supposed to see his kid that evening for an overpass, but the wife had the authority to dictate the terms of him seeing his own child no matter what, and she wasn't feeling it. Granted, I definitely got one side of the story, but it was freaking terrible to see a man who desperately wanted to spend time with his kid be completely blocked from it over bullcrap. California had given Ad so little rights, from how this guy described it, that even though he had a stable job, good house, and was willing to pay for a hotel, so he and his son would stay in the town the mom lived in, it was a no-go. That was a tough one cause I was so powerless to help. Picked up a girl to take her straight from work to the hospital to see her dad. Her mom had called her work to make her end her shift early because it was serious. Her dad had cancer. I dropped her off and was like, God, I hate this job cause I'll never know how her night ended. Wrong. Next night, I'm taking people home from bars and her two guy friends took her out to get wasted cause her dad had died. They were being drunk idiots. So when I took them to get pizza, she came outside and we talked about it a little. That was probably the one ride where I felt I had a positive impact on someone's life beyond getting them home safely. I was taking two couples home. Dropped off couple #1 and the husband of couple #2 was in the front seat and made a comment I didn't hear. Apparently he insulted the wife of couple #1, his wife's BFF. The wife in couple #2 didn't like that, so she hit him. Not like a playful slap. He struck her husband. Straight on domestic violence. I laid down the law. We are not going anywhere as this is how it's gonna be. The dude was drunk on tequila. Chick was drunk too. So the ride home was him asking me how would you feel? And me saying it's Not about how I feel. You two need to discuss this tomorrow when you're sober. It's weird. Man, you get a passing glimpse into people's lives, and loved it, and hated it at the same time. My friend Uber's in my hometown. Picked up some really nice girls out on first Friday. They're talking about their plans for next autumn. Guy thinks he recognizes one of them. Turns out to be my younger sister, and he tells me all about it. And that's how I found out my little sister was moving to Spain. I picked up a guy from a gay bar, and he was noticeably coming on to me. He then confessed that he was one of the founders of a very popular gaming company, and offered me $2,000 to come up to his room. He also refused to leave my car, unless I kissed his hand. Fun times. What did you do with the money? Picked up a girl mid-Saturday. She was a bit upset and a little teary, and opened up to me. Turned out a business she had started was failing, and she was in debt, and had turned to stripping on the side to cover the bills. She said the pay was good, but she kept getting really sick from all the booze she felt obliged to drink. Part of her job was making guys spend money at the bar. She hated it, and felt trapped, and kept asking me what I would do in her situation. I'm a guy, so kind of hard for me to answer. Tried to give her the best advice I could think of, like getting the tax office to withhold tax for a while, but couldn't help really. Only thing I could do was end the trip early. Other one was a couple of off-duty cops who didn't want their friends to know they were using it. Uber is still in a legal gray area here. I'm not an Uber driver, but I have one that was told to me. This driver told me that he picked up his last fare for the day, and it did not have a final destination. The dude gets in the car cooked out of his mind yelling on the phone. The guy says drive to Vegas, here, and the guy tosses $500 bucks at him. That is on top of the Uber fare, which apparently was surge pricing. So the guy drives into Vegas. From Los Angeles takes about 4 hours. The whole time the guy is talking / yelling on the phone to his mom. They get to Vegas, and he drops the dude off at some mansion, where his mom is outside waiting to yell at him. Apparently the guy forgot about giving him the cash, because he tossed another few $100 at him, got out of the car and split. You have been visited by the thirsty alcoholic lizard. You will not experience any more hangovers this year, but only if you say, drink up. What made you laugh the hardest in your entire life? At a party, someone started a riding lawnmower up, turned the steering wheel to the left, and put it in high gear so it ran around in circles. It was funny at first but got annoying after a while, so we tried to shut it off. The problem is it was moving pretty fast, and we were all too drunk to catch it. Every time one of us would try to grab it and hop on, we would miss, fall over, and get ran over by the lawnmower. It got so funny watching everyone try that we couldn't stop laughing. We eventually started throwing rocks at it, which was even funnier, trying to see drunk people try and aim a rock at a moving object. This went on for a good hour before it ran out of gas. People got run over by it. Many died. In the funniest way possible. My friend is from Japan. One time, she was trying to say, I was sitting on the bed, and instead she said, I shut the bed. I knew what she had meant to say, but I started laughing uncontrollably, something that was not helped by her yelling, no no no, upon realizing she had royally ducked up that sentence. My mom had a Japanese co-worker who would always come over and bring us snacks. This one time she brought us these sweet apples, and she was trying to suggest we eat them with peanut butter. Kyoko, you mean peanut butter? Yes, peanut butter. I had to leave the room. My 12-year-old self did not have the maturity to handle her accent. But neither did my 45-year-old dad. It was in summer this year actually. There was a middle-aged couple walking in front of me with ice creams. The guy obviously didn't see the step ledge on the floor coming up and tripped over it. As he tripped over, his flailing arm shoved the ice cream right onto an oncoming child's forehead. The ice cream cone stayed in place for a couple of seconds before it slid off. The kid looked like a ducking unicorn. I was literally crying with laughter and it was so hard to compose myself. You had to be there. but OMG, the funniest scene of events ever. During the peak of those What in Tarnation memes, my college buddies and I road tripped from Michigan to Eno for Mardi Gras during our spring break. About 10 hours in, when we were already feeling really goofy / bored from the long trip, a tire rolled across the highway in front of the car. My friend, while the tire is still crossing our path, screams, "What in tarnation?" And that stupidest joke is the hardest I've ever laughed. This is ducking hilarious, laughing my ass off. Back in the mid-90s, when I was a 15-something teenager, my cousins and I had the house to ourselves, so one decides to put a porno in the VCR. I warned him that my dad was coming home soon, and that he might want to think twice, but he didn't heed my warning. We kept watching the front door so we'd be ready to eject the tape and not get caught. Lo and behold, my dad just happened to come through the side door in the garage that day, and was suddenly standing there behind us. Myself and one of my cousins bolted out of the room when we noticed him. The third cousin wasn't so lucky. He noticed us running off and, with my dad right behind him, shouted after us, "Hey, where you guys going? Don't ya want to jerk your penis?" At that point I lost all feelings in my legs as I fell to the floor in laughter. I could still see my cousin through the hallway, as he was slowly turning around and noticing my dad behind him, at which point he jumped back around, frantically trying to figure out how to turn off the VCR, but to no avail. It was one of those really old VCRs where stop and eject weren't on the front of the unit. He finally just dropped to his knees and tried hugging the TV to block the picture, crying that he was sorry. I turned so red from laughter that it felt like I was running a fever. I had difficulty breathing for the rest of the day and my ribs felt like they'd been shattered. My poor cousin though, he not only got caught watching porn in hilarious fashion, but he also got teased for years about whether or not he was serious about his proposal to jerk our penis in the same room together. Standing on the sidewalk next to one of those metal electrical boxes, my little sister is standing between me and the box, facing me. She shouts "Tag, you're it," and spins around to run away as a full sprint. She slams into the box just like Wile E. Coyote running into a wall. I have never laughed so hard in my life. The people passing by afterward just saw a 6-year-old crying next to an adult laughing her grass off uncontrollably on the ground. Eventually I composed myself and picked her up and told her she'll be alright. I felt so bad, but damn if I wasn't suppressing giggles the whole way home. I have a Ukrainian co-worker who is several decades older than me, and is a super serious, pretty strange guy. He has a very stereotypical old school Soviet style to him. He always speaks and identifies as Russian. He heard my friend and I telling trivial amusing stories to each other on a break, and joined our little circle with the biggest smile on his face. Looking to join in and relate, he explains that when he was in university he had a car, but his friends destroyed his car by literally bludgeoning it to pieces, and then beat him viciously as a prank. You know, as friends do. Then he could barely get through the next part of the story. He was laughing so hard when he explained that from then on he had to run to and from university. He said he ran so often with his bag that he ended up separating his abdominal muscles and severely injuring himself. By this point my friend and I are dying from laughter too, so our comrade feels great about his smash hit of a story and heads back to his desk. I still won't go in a room alone with that guy. I came across this guy on Xbox Live with the name Bilbo T. Baggins. I don't know why, my brother and I were crying laughing. This school near my house had closed down, so me and my 4 brothers went there pretty frequently one summer, and essentially made it our personal playground. One day, we were there playing basketball, riding our skateboards and whatnot when a cop drives past the school and sees us messing around in there. Obviously we weren't supposed to be there, and we got spooked, so we bailed and went to hop the fence and run home. All my brothers can manage the fence well, and we're throwing our bikes over and trying to get the hell out of there before the cop turns the corner. He probably would have just told us to go home. But we were young and worried. As I turned to grab one of the bikes, I look over at my youngest brother, who was probably around 6 or 7 at the time, got himself caught on the fence as he was coming down. He managed to give himself the most ultimate wedgie I've ever seen. He wasn't holding himself up on anything, but he was suspended up in the air hanging by his underwear. All of us just stopped trying to rush home, and started howling with laughter to the point where we could hardly help my screaming brother down from his wedgie. I still remember seeing his ass cheeks hanging out from his wedgie as he was crying begging for help. Probably my favorite childhood memory. The first time I ever got high, I had to beg my friend to stop imitating people we know / making edgy jokes, or else I was definitely going to puke from the sheer hilarity. It was the only time I ever laughed to that level. You never have the urge to laugh in your life again as intense as the first time you get high as does. I nearly lost my mind laughing at my buddy's bachelor party, late at night, sitting at a table after much drinking. One of his friends, who is a lawyer, shared a theory that he'd heard. All foods can be categorized into 4 groups: sandwich, salad, soup, or ravioli. In other words, by this definition, a taco would be a sandwich, carb used to hold ingredients, open edges, whereas a calzone or a Pop-Tart would be classified as a ravioli. This is obviously a ridiculous position, but most of us were used to this guy's nonsense. However, one of the other guys at the table is from New York and took issue with this. He had never met the lawyer before this weekend. Things started getting heated. The more upset at these categories the guy from New York became, the more the lawyer doubled down and gave increasingly preposterous explanations and logic. What about spaghetti yuduka? Clearly a salad. It's tossed ingredients with a dressing. Meanwhile, the rest of us were starting to lose it at how upset the New Yorker was getting. It culminated in the guy from New York standing up out of his chair, slamming his hands against the table and passionately screaming, "Pizza's not a ducking sandwich, goddammit!" While the rest of us were crying laughing. Good times. Told the story before, but it's still one of my favorites. Small child, maybe 4 years old, is running with 2 2-liter bottles of soda. Maybe it was root beer. Lots of bouncing already. Then she trips, bottles go flying and she face plants. She lifts her head up to cry, and just then, at that perfectly timed moment, the cap blows off one of the bottles into her face, spraying her with soda and foam. Her mother runs over, still pushing the shopping cart for some reason, and naturally, slips on the other soda and trying to catch herself grabs the side of the shopping cart. She and cart tip over. A bag of flour explodes and covers the sticky child. All of this was done with the precision of a 1940s comedy show. It was really impressive. And sadly, I did not get to film it. Like 9 or 10 years ago, I was at a stoplight with my friend after gorging ourselves nearly to death at a CC's Pizza. We were in a lane to turn left, and a few cars up going straight were stopped as well. Suddenly, the back window rolls down and there's like 13-year-old kid sticks his head out the window, looks into the driver's mirror, and starts professionally sucking the biggest imaginary penis you've ever seen. Like he was going to Ducking Town. Me and my friend are in tears, hyperventilating, we're laughing so hard. He stops abruptly, turns and looks straight at us, still laughing hysterically, and gives us this look like, "Who the hell are you to laugh at me?" for like 20 seconds. And then goes back to sucking that imaginary penis. This went on for maybe a minute and a half, and we were crying the whole 30 minutes drive home. I I still judge funny things on a scale of 1 to kid sucking imaginary penis at a stoplight. My ex and I were walking into Target, and she burped and farted at the same time, and then she sarcastically screamed, "If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best." Hardest I've ever laughed. My ex. Ask Reddit, what's a secret you won't share with anyone in person, but you are willing to share anonymously? There is a snake that lives in the wall along the stairs leading to my basement. He has his area, and I have mine, and we respect each other's space. I found some kind of dangerous looking snake in my armored vehicle when I was in the army. I was recovering from surgery, and wasn't really concerned with maintenance on the vehicle, so I just left the snake, alone. On this particular vehicle, 1068-3, you need to open the front hatch, driver's hole, and climb through to pop the back door, allowing entry. June liked to curl up somewhere on the floor in between. This vehicle was a training vehicle, not combat ready, so not airtight or nuclear/biological/chemical proof. I assumed June came through the floor. I don't know, didn't really care. My painkillers told me June was my friend and we didn't bother each other. One day I'm told I'll be training a brand new private. I walk, crutch, her to the motor pool and verbally explain, with one foot and her crutches on the ground, how to open the vehicle. As our head disappears through the driver's hatch I yell to her, "Oh, and don't step on June. I don't know if he's dangerous." I hear her climbing over end pieces and she says, "Who's June? Oh my god, there's a snake in here." Yup, that's June. Hurry up and pop the back. My knee is killing me. The back door flies open, and she raced across the motor pool, trying like hell to get away from this poor snake. When I was about 9, I went over to neighbor's house. I would usually go hang out with my adult neighbors because they would let me watch TV, and give me snacks in exchange for helping them, with the intention of seeing if I could play with the foster puppies she had. Well, she wasn't there, but her door was unlocked, and I just went in, and played with the puppies. When I walked out of the house, she was coming down the driveway. There was a bunch of stuff in front of her door blocking it from view from the driveway. I just pretending, like I had been waiting for a minute and we walked in, and I got to play with the puppies again. When I was very young I'd put my mom's vibrator in my mouth and turn it on because it felt funny. What the frick is wrong with me? Edit. I didn't expect this to blow up. Gonna die. IOBV didn't know what it was used for. I don't remember the taste. It didn't leave any impression on me. I was doing it because of vibrating sensation, not the taste. I'm pretty sure it was clean. Or at least that's what I'm telling to myself all these years. Never have I shared this with anyone, even my shrink. Back when I was 17, my parents had recently split up. My mom walked out. My sister, only sibling, was already in college across the country. I lived with my dad at the time, and he was the only family member I had within 1,500 miles. It was Christmas Eve. My father was gradually getting worse in the ICU. I had already been dealing with him not paying bills, etc. We didn't have heat on in the house in the middle of winter. I was a mess at the time, only having my beloved dog with me. It was about 48 degrees in our house, so her and I stayed in my bedroom, where I had a space heater. I tried to odd. I drank near a fifth of whiskey, took a few Xanax and morphine. I remember crying my eyes out Christmas Eve, asking for my dog's forgiveness if I didn't wake up, and for anyone to help me. I awoke 14 hours later to my dog whimpering and nudging me. When I woke up it was the strangest feeling I've ever had, like I was meant to be here, and nothing will stop me. I'll never tell a soul as I'm highly ashamed of considering taking the easy route out. I spent Christmas Day alone with my dog. holding her for the majority of the day. She didn't leave my side once during my slumber and the day. It's like she knew something was really wrong with me. I still have my girl to this day. I always thank her in my head for keeping me going. Or I woken up and attempted it again if I didn't have her. I think that I woken up and attempted it again if I didn't have her. I think that I'm beginning to hallucinate every once in a while. It's mostly little things that are there, and then they aren't. My last relationship ended because she was cheating with another man. The other man was her dad. Edit in regards to how I found out. I can't share the gory details as they are pretty identifying. What I do want to say is that it was nothing visible physically. They wouldn't kiss on the lips or do anything that someone could brush off as European friendly. I also never witnessed anything physical happening between them with my own eyes. The proof was in the place where you'd expect it to be in today's day and age, an electronic device. Pretty sure I'm obsessed with being in a relationship, and I've started finding any woman that talks to me attractive. Well, it's a secret my mom confided in my GF, somehow not expecting her to tell me. I found out a month ago, still has me flipped up. My dad had committed suicide when I was 2 years old, 2 days before Christmas. It always left me wondering why. I'm 24 now and just found out she was cheating on him with my stepdad. She had also told him he would never see me again, so he took his own life at his place of work after hours cause he didn't know where else to go. I always thought my middle name being my stepdad's first name was just a coincidence, because I don't remember him coming into my life until a couple years later. My mom found out she was pregnant with my little sister 3 days after my dad's death. I've always resented my stepdad before cause he burnt all my baby pictures with my dad in them, and I never knew why. I look nothing like my stepdad BCW and still haven't confronted my mom. I posted this on a different sub, but my wife thinks I go to work 30 minutes early because of my military training. In reality I get there early to watch a rerun of Dog the Bounty Hunter with the boys. I fall asleep to the Donkey Kong Country soundtrack every night. I have told my husband, and my mom knows, but nobody else. When I was 7, I pooped the bed in the middle of the night. Just like a perfect log in my underwear. I was scared of getting in trouble, so I threw my underwear and pooped behind the dresser in my bedroom and promptly forgot I did that. My mom found it 2 weeks later. I had a baby when I was 15, and he was adopted. Close to adoption. Most painful thing I've ever gone through. He turns 18 in a few months, and if he so chooses, he can find me. I'm married and have kids now, and my kids have no idea he exists. I really want to meet him, but I'm terrified he's got mental disorders like his biological father, who is now in prison for murder. The real reason my arm is broken is because I owe a seemingly unobtainable amount of money to the wrong people, all because I tried to help my deadbeat brother out of a bad situation. Satire people. Drugs can ruin not only your life, but your family's life as well. Update, I'm still alive, and have cut my brother out of the equation. I won't be talking with him, or his circle anymore. I'm going to disappear for a while, and try to rebuild elsewhere. For those who want to help, seriously, thank you. I do not deserve a single bit of it. Under advice of an internet stranger, I'm not going to stir the pot publicly with more details, but I'm happy to share stories via PMs. One time my wife and I got really drunk. The scallops she ate weren't sitting well, so she went to sit on the floor of a hot shower. I join her, and we are just sitting there hugging, and she suddenly pukes all over me. Not too bad as we are in the shower anyway. A little later she has to pee, and since neither of us want to move I tell her to just go. So she does, on me. I have a flashlight buried deep in my closet. I haven't used it for years. When I did use it, I used to shove it in the opening of a filled laundry bag, so I would be tricking something with hefted mass. I had some very lonely times in college and that really helped me through it. I'm too hesitant to throw it away, because I don't want someone to find it. I know that one day I throw it away there will be a freak storm or flood that blows the trash can over, and spills it all over the street. Or the garbage bag will rip, or it will bounce out of the garbage truck, and into the street. So it sits in my closet until the day I die, and my family has to discover it. I was at a party with me boyfriend's Mexican family, at his grandparents'. I've known them for a while, but never been really comfortable around them. They are pretty snob, if you ask me. Anyways, we ate a lot of good Mexican food, and then I had to go to the toilet afterwards. So I go upstairs, because I didn't really wanted to take a poop on the main floor, you know. So I'm doing what I gotta do, and I go to flush, but realize that there is no water in the bowl, because they've been renovating, and the bathroom was not ready yet. So I'm there asking myself what the frick to do, and I decided to call my BF to ask him for help. Yep, next thing, he comes in with a bag and a glove, and I had to take my poop out of the toilet, and into the bag, which we then hide somewhere in the woods next to the house. A proud moment in my life. Well, my wife knows this now, but I wouldn't tell another soul. A few years ago me and my wife moved into her parents' place to save some money, so we were adjusting to living with parents again. It was strange and uncomfortable. I woke up one morning, and it felt like the world was about to fall out of my butthole. I went to open the bedroom door, and could hear my father-in-law getting ready to head out for work. I'm panicking thinking frick, I know this is gonna be bad. I'm not gonna go take this mega dump so early on into our time living here. I need to devise a plan. I stayed in the bedroom, emptied out the little bin we had in the corner, and pooped into the bag that was placed in there. I wiped my butt with some tissues that happened to be on the side, stand up and tie a knot in the bag. Now I'm getting ready for work with this bag of poop by my feet. My next stage is to get rid of this thing. I can't do it in any of the bins here. Think frick it, I'll take it out, and find the nearest one I can see. I even questioned putting this bag of poop in a neighbor's place if nobody sees. I walked 15 minutes to work with a bag of my own crap in my hoodie pocket, until I could find a public bin to throw it in. You have been visited by the hangover papa. Comment do recover, papa, in the next 5 minutes and you will never suffer from a hangover. What some juicy gossip you just found out in your personal lives? That my uncle left my auntie for the phone sex line worker he was calling for the last 3 years. My ex, after 1 week of being single, started dating this SoundCloud rapper. Now she's pregnant with twins. We're still in our teens. My friend has a birthmark on his penis. So were you sword fighting? Probably a birthday bro job. My uncle told my parents that he needed money because he borrowed from the Chinese mafia and they were threatening to kill him and his family or something. My parents sent him some money and then 2 weeks later he posted a pic with a new car. We just found out a 16-year-old intern at my work is dealing drugs.